Kurt's prone to get hurt, especially now coming out, 36, 37, coming off of a torn Achilles. Those experiments usually don't work out too well.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with us today on our NFC South preview show, academic and athletic consultant with the CK Save Project, George Aka. George, ready to talk NFC South?
Yeah, no, I got no choice. Blessed to be here. Blessed to be here.
And Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, we don't seem to be overly impressed with the NFC South, but how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm not. And I promised my king that I would mention the Giants for him. So it's coming. Don't worry.
All right. So the Odd Coaches Podcast NFL preview shows are designed for the casual fan to get you excited about the season. And yes, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. In segment 1, we will cover the major storylines of the NFC South. Segment 2, we'll do the over-under, strictly for entertainment purposes only. And in segment 3, we will do our predicted order of finish, playoff teams, and Super Bowl contenders. So, George, I'm going to start with you in Tampa Bay. And the big question, can Baker Mayfield maintain his great play from last year with another new offensive coordinator? What say you?
You did this on purpose. You did this on purpose with the Baker Mayfield stuff and starting with me. I know you did.
Can this guy do it, man? He's
No.
got his money. He's got a new OC. What we got, man?
You know what I got? I got 500. That's what I got. If that, because he's got some players around him. That's all I can give him.
All right. So, Will, I'm going to throw some data at you, man. You got Mike Evans coming back, who co-led the NFL with 13 receiving touchdowns. You got the fancy new OC coming in from the Los Angeles Rams. What say you, man? Can Baker Mayfield maintain his play and make some noise with the Bucs?
I like George. I dislike Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's good at all. I just don't like him. I don't like him when he got drafted. It's a lifelong, that's it. The best thing that is that they have consistency together. They play together. They like each other. I guess that counts for something. But yeah, I mean, they could mess around and win 8 or 9 games, man. They could win the division. I don't see there's another team
the NFC South, man.
Will's right. They've been together a long time, and their defense is good. The defense is good, and they know what they're supposed to. Everybody on the offense knows what they're supposed to do, except the quarterback. So
okay.
So they'll win. Like I said, 500. They'll win. They'll sneak a couple despite him.
All right. So will Carolina. We've done some work with them in the offseason. Bryce Young had a horrible rookie season. Can he rebound after that ridiculously poor rookie season? What say you, Will?
I think he has to. I think he has to. There's no way that you can get worse or even do the same thing. There's no way that you can believe that you can play in the NFL if you don't get a little better. And he knows the thing he has to work on. Obviously he's a small player, so he's going to have to find different ways to be more effective. If that's rolling out, let it go, moving, shifty, where he's going to have to figure it out. And then he's going to have to figure out, how can I see over people and throw, accurately? How can I do that? So it's up to him. I think he can rebound a little bit. I think people will see some sparks here and they'll see some, man, looking good, or but I don't think he'll make the big enough leaps for people to be comfortable and say, he's the starting quarterback. He's the guy that we're going to lead us into the promised land. And I think for this preseason, and I think next preseason, it's going to be the same questions next year. I think they're going to be like, it's getting close to contract time. What's going on with this kid? So, we'll see. But
All
I
right,
think it'll be much the same.
George, I got to throw this stat at you because you know what to do with it. He had 5.5 yards per pass last season. Can't get worse than that. His passer rating was 73.7. Can he rebound, George, after that bad rookie season?
So what I'm gonna say right now is let's dispel this narrative that it was all on him because his offensive line was Swiss cheese. And if the offensive line performs better, you will see the kid that was coming out of Alabama making good decisions, throwing the ball where he needed to be, and relative stuff like that. But your stat that you just gave me is a product of having no time to throw the football. I can only throw 5 yards to get that real quick out or that safety valve because I have no time. So I think it was an unfair situation to Bryce because his offensive line was terrible. I think he got sacked the most times up to with the same amount of times as Carr's brother. He was close to that or even more. So
62 times, sir.
62
Sacked
times.
62
And
times.
we're not even talking about the number of pressures he had. So he was
Right,
running
right.
for his life. And when you're 5'9", barely 200 pounds, and you're running for your life, nothing good is coming out of that. It's a wonder he's still alive right now, dude.
All right, George, I do want to follow up with you. And please educate our audience on this because I want to be educated on it. They tell me because he's small, and I had Bobian talk about it, that's going to be a big deal. But smaller quarterbacks have played well in the league. Is him being small really a big deal, little deal, or no deal? I want to hear from you because I'm sure many of our listeners will have that same question. Is that midget thing real?
It is. I mean, it is and it isn't because nowadays you can devise an offense to it not being that big of a hindrance for a quarterback. But if you're going to run your regular pro style offense, stand back there and like a statue and chuck it, then yeah, it's going to be a problem. But we with the pistol in now, and you can move the pocket and different things you can do. You can create those lanes he can see through, so it isn't. The big thing with him being so small is the number of hits he can take. Bigger guys can take more shots and recover to where smaller guys just can't do it. That's why back in the day, Seattle put so much money into their offensive line to make sure Russell Wilson stayed upright. And they gave him, when they blocked, if the rusher got by, they gave him angles in order to escape. You saw none of that in Carolina last year. Drew Brees was the opposite. They gave him lanes. They would shift the pocket a little bit. But what they also did, Drew Brees would his drop back was a few steps deeper. He worked out a shotgun a lot, so he had division. So there are ways around it. It's just a matter of taking the shots. You notice Drew Brees didn't take too many big shots. And it kept him upright. And hell, he threw for more passing yards than I think he's got the most in the NFL season. So it's there, but it's not there. It comes down to how your frame and how they're built. I'll tell you one instance. Like you're talking about when RG3 was with the Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call it. He was a smaller quarterback, and I'm talking about body size, not by height size. And you saw him just get obliterated with the number of shots he took. That's what I think you worry more about when you're looking at your quarterback. Does he have size and thickness to him? And that's why it was a big thing with Bryce Young that he came in at 201 pounds, because they're worried about him being so small and being able to take those shots, because it's no joke at the league. It's no joke in the league.
All right. So, Will, I'm going to you because this is one of my favorite players in the history of the NFL, Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. He is 36 and he is coming off a torn Achilles, but his pockets are still fat. Can Atlanta break through and win that Super Bowl in a very weak NFC South? What say you? And remember, there will be no Kirk Cousins slander on the OCP.
Not me, not never. You know me, I'm a big fan of getting the bag. So that's what he does. But you get Kirk Cousins. I mean, if you're signing Kirk Cousins to lead you to the promised land, you're going to get Kirk Cousins getting disappointed. I think they could definitely make it to the playoffs. They have the talent. I mean, at least on the offensive side of the ball, they're still kind of immature. Bijan Robinson is supposed to make that next step. I think Drake London, I think he kind of fell off in the middle of the season. They still have Kyle Pitt. I mean, that guy has yet finally he figured it out. I mean, they keep talking about Kyle Pitts, Kyle Pitts. So I think Kirk can bring those things up. I think they'll show that, hey, thank you for helping me, but you're not part of the future. And but they paid him so much money. Their job is to develop. But I think with the skill they have, I think with Kirk being as capable, as long as he's healthy, man, they could be right there with the Bucks trying to fight for the win the division. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be an easy win or an easy walk but I think if Kirk can be healthy, I think they can get close and win the division at some point.
George, I'm going to throw the elephant in the room. They drafted Michael Penix Jr. With the 8th pick, and we all were in the group chat saying, "Huh? What?" So is it Kurt's team, or is he just holding the fort this year? What do you think?
Oh, Kirk's just holding the fort this year. Penix, I think they saw enough in training camp that they think Penix will be able to take over the team. I don't think he'll take it over at the beginning of the year unless something crazy happens. But Kurt's prone to get hurt, especially now coming out, 36, 37, coming off of a torn Achilles. Those experiments usually don't work out too well. So
hold on now. I gave you some data, sir. Dan Marino, age 32, he had 86 more starts. Vinny Testaverde had 68 more starts at 36. I'm not going to talk about the other two. They don't matter. But
okay.
did I persuade you? Anything?
No, you did not, because Vinny Testaverde was. Vinny was with a bum team. We're not even going to go there. There was no.
I don't even know who Jim Miller is, and Trent Dilfer.
No,
it's Trent Dilfer.
Yeah,
okay.
Vinny was on. I think Vinny did that time with the Jets that time, and they didn't have anybody else. So it was and Dan Marino, you're talking about one of the greatest ever do it. And if you remember, he was playing with a cast on his foot. Dan couldn't run anywhere. He couldn't even run on the field. So they just put him in one spot and let him throw the ball. So
he was good at the slide step.
He just chucked it. So I mean, it with Atlanta right now, as long as Kirk can keep going, as long as he can stay healthy, depending on what shape he comes back in, and they get decent play out of the kid when Penix actually gets his chance, I think they win the division. I mean, you got a all former Redskins quarterback in the situation, because the third quarterback there is your boy.
Rabbi Heineke.
Yep. So Heineke is the third. So I think they got enough. I think they get enough serviceable quarterback play. They win the division.
Okay. All right, George, I'm going to stay with you. The New Orleans Saints, their defense is a top 10 defense. They are. Can the offense, help? Can the offense do anything? You got Derek Carr there. I don't know. What do you think, man?
You said the one word. Who do we have back there?
Derek Carr.
It's boom or bust. That's my push all my chips to the middle of the table every time. And it didn't. On big games, he kind of doesn't show up. He wants to hit snake eyes in big games. So it's a roll of the dice every year with the talent they have down there. They should win the division easily. But their quarterback play makes it a roulette game. So we'll see what Derek Carr shows up. That's how we got played this year. We'll see which form of Derek Carr shows up.
All right, Will, what do you think? New Orleans, can they do anything?
Nah, not too much. I mean, again, Derek Carr is Derek Carr, like George said. He is who he is. Like, if you're hitching your wagon on Derek Carr, you ain't going no very far. So it's just that's how it is. I don't think the Saints are still recovered yet from Drew Brees and Sean Payton. I think they're trying to hold on to something that they got going on rather than scrapping what they got and saying, all right, we need to rebuild. It needs a different vision. It needs to include that vision of the coach and how we're going to move forward. Because, I mean, when you've had a tenure of such long sustainability where you're good, and you have a good quarterback and you have a good coach, you don't have to worry about anything. But now those things change. Look at Patriots. The Patriots are in a mess. Pittsburgh, until they grab Russell Wilson, have been pretty much a mess. They can't really recover. So we'll see. I think because they don't have their identity, they aren't really going to do much this year. They're just going to be, like George said, they're going to play some games. They'll be tough. There'll be some good games, but I don't think they'll do much.
George, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole before we close. Spencer Rattler is on the roster. One of the most prolific television quarterbacks you can ever see in your life. He is, let's just say, seasoned himself in his college career. He's played a few games. Did I tease you a little bit? Can this kid be something in the preseason, and then Derek Carr's, and then Spencer gets out there? Or I didn't sell you, did I?
Okay.
No. I tried. No. Okay, in segment 2, fans, we're going to do over-under predictions for the NFC South. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student-athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2, over-unders for the NFC South. Let's start with Atlanta. Will, over-under 9.5. Their roster rank is 15. What say you, sir?
Man, I mean, looking at the schedule, they got to beat Saints. I think they got to beat the Bucks at least once. There's some tough wins out there, but they can win up. They can get. I take over. I think they can get 10 wins. I think they have to beat the Chargers, but give me a slightly 10.
All right, George, over under 9.5 for the Falcons.
I'm gonna go with Will. I think they can get 10 because I'm looking at even if they don't beat the Chargers, they got the Giants, they got the Commanders, they got
there
the
you
Panthers.
go, George. I mean, Will. There you go. You got the Giants reference.
Got to take a drink.
Yep. And the Panthers right there at the end of the season. So I tell you right, and if they go undefeated in the NFC South, yeah, they'll definitely get it.
All right, Ak, I'm gonna stay with you. Tampa Bay over under 8.5. Their roster rank is 18. Ooh. So the Falcons' roster rank is 15. The Bucks roster rank is 18. What say you?
Oh my God. 8.5. Nope. I'm gonna say no. I'll say under. I just saw 49ers popped up there. Getting Cowboy. Yeah. I'm gonna say they got the Chiefs too. Ravens. I'm gonna say under.
All right. Will, over under 8.5 for Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna say slightly over with 9.
Whoa.
Ouch! You
Who you
fell
got
to
him?
nine.
Who you got to beat?
I think they can beat. They're gonna beat the Commanders for
Okay.
earlier on.
Okay.
I think they can beat the Broncos.
Okay.
I can beat the Saints, Giants. They could beat the Panthers twice. They could beat the Raiders,
Oof.
and they can beat the Saints any other day. Like they're right there on the same like schedule. They could beat. They're right there. They can win 9.
I'm looking at that Raiders game like it's a coin flip game right there, but we'll see. I got them right on that cusp too, but I go with because Baker's gonna do Baker one time, and I got
Some of them. Yeah.
So I got to cut them loose right there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stay with you. New Orleans over under 7.5. Their roster rank is 24. What do you think, sir? Over under for the New Orleans Saints.
It helps them out that they play the NFC East, but they're gonna get nice wins against the Giants, and they're gonna get some win against Commanders. Give me under 7. Give me the under 7.5. That's a
All
tough
right.
schedule for them.
George, what do you think? Over under 7.5 with that 24 ranked roster.
Yeah, that's a tough. I got to go under too. That's a tough one, man. God.
And speaking of that, George, let's finalize this. Carolina Panthers over under 5.5. Their roster rank is 30. Ain't but 32 teams in the league, man. What are you thinking about the Carolina Panthers?
I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna say you said 5.5.
5.5.
Get in the boat with me because we're going over 5.5 too.
You go. I think they can go. I think they can get 5. I think they can get 6, man.
I think they can get 6. All right. Will, you were a little more confident. What say you, sir?
I'm going with the over. I think they can beat the Giants. I think they could beat the Cardinals for sure. I mean, the Commanders are games that are one that, toss ups. Broncos are terrible. They can steal a game against the Saints because they had a close game last with them last year. It was really close.
Yeah.
And I think they can beat the Bears. I think the Bears are hyped.
Yep.
I think they're
that Bears game is a coin flip, just like that Raiders game is a coin flip.
Exactly. So I think they can get 6, man. I think they're gonna build up for that. I think that's gonna be their Super Bowl. 6 wins.
Long as Bryce ain't running for his life.
Yeah.
All right, fans, when we get back at segment 3, I don't know how many playoff teams are going to be in this conference, this division, but we'll find out. We'll be right back on the iCoaches podcast.
The CKA SAVE Project is an industry leader in advocating for student-athlete, academic, and athletic needs. Through academic and athletic enrichment, the CKA SAVE Project is on the forefront of the issues facing 21st century student-athletes. As student-athletes continue to struggle to find a better balance between academic and athletic success, the CKA SAVE Project offers academic and athletic services to support student-athlete academic success, including academic skills assessment, academic and athletic consulting, academic monitoring, academic and athletic workshops. For more information or to schedule a free consultation, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the iCoaches podcast in segment 3. I'm looking forward to this. George, give me the projected order of finish for the NFC South.
Oh, we're not gonna be the same on this one too. We got Atlanta, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and Carolina. That's how it's going.
All right, Will, would you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. Will, are there more than one playoff team coming out of the NFC South?
Oh God.
There's 2. Obviously, the Falcons go win the division, and Tampa Bay. Look, if they can win, they're just like the other conference. They're just poop at the bottom. Just poop. They could definitely sneak in with 9 wins.
Okay, so you got 2 teams coming out. You got Atlanta and Tampa Bay making the playoff. George, agree or disagree?
Disagree. They give one team. One team. And I say that because the NFC West is going to be stronger than everybody then you give them. They'll have 3 teams in the NFC West.
All right, so George, I'm gonna stay with you. Is Atlanta good enough to make the Super Bowl?
Hell no.
They're not good enough to make the Super Bowl. Will, come on, man. Kirk Cousins can't get over the hump.
Nah, no way. Not even. Don't even have that conversation. Super Bowl. Nah.
Super Bowl. We
Super
talking about
Bowl.
Super Bowl?
Oh,
Better be a college football bowl.
No.
The Super Nacho Bowl or something.
We talking about Super Bowl?
Yeah,
all right. So, fans, we have covered the NFC South. Good luck to them. We will pick one team to bet on as we do everyone. I might sneak in another one. They might have convinced me. But on behalf of our Cavalcade Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.